Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Chat with Lindsey and Neely.
Hey, y'all.
Say hi in the chat if you are here. I have my coffee. It's not black coffee because I added stuff to it.
Okay.
It's,
Glad you clarified that for us.
it is coffee with frothed half and half, so almost a latte,
Ooh,
but not technically.
look
It's
at
not
you being all fancy.
Yeah, I decided to be fancy. This is actually my second cup of coffee for the day. We've been talking about how I've been drinking my second cup of coffee too early recently, but for whatever reason today,
It fit
I just
later.
had zero appetite, so I did not crave a second cup of coffee earlier.
I don't understand this zero appetite thing.
I don't either. It is very strange. What
Well,
do you have?
I have black decaf coffee.
What?
I mean, I know you can barely see it, but if I spill this, it's bad. So anyhow, I have black coffee. It is of the decaf nature
Mhm.
because that's what I do. Once the regular coffee is all gone, we move on.
Mhm. Risa is here. Hello. Suzanne is here. I think Risa said hello. Just you probably like sent the comments at the exact same time, and Risa's just popped up first. But yes, you can have the gold star. You can both have like
4 millisecond difference is what
high
I
gold
see.
stars. Oh yeah, they even give us those millisecond differences. Wow, that's crazy.
It
Rick,
gets serious around these parts.
yeah, it is serious. Rickwin is here. Happy Wednesday. Low carb spin. Good morning. Coffee with Coco Loco salty. That sounds great. Risa had her usual coffee and now drinking a KetoChow Irish cream. Excellent. That was one of the flavors that got discontinued, right?
I think that's accurate. Yeah.
And now it's vintage, limited edition.
Vintage.
It's limited availability.
Okay. Digression moment for just a split second. Do you have a zone for your vintage keto chows or any other products that are vintage, no longer in production?
I do not.
Oh, I do.
Okay. Interesting. Because
That's how I divide
like
them up.
don't touch.
No, not even that. It's because they're the old packaging, and the way that my brain organizes things, old packaging all goes together, but in color order based on whatever flavor that is.
Yes.
And then new packaging gets rainbow ordered as well because color.
Yes, I just went in and like organized all of my KetoChow. I actually like pulled out. These are all old packaging.
Oh my gosh.
So maybe I do have a place because this isn't all the old packaging KetoChow I have, but I pulled out all of these because I want to do like a giveaway with some vintage flavors because like guava grapefruit here.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to use them all. And then, pina colada is now no longer with us, but I know some people like it and I don't. So it's like, why is this sitting in my pantry when someone else could be enjoying it? So I'm going to do a giveaway. I was thinking, I think I have enough to create my own surprise boxes with like one bulk bag and then the rest little packets and make it all like fun. It's all going to be old packaging, so
that'll be fun.
Yeah, but
it's
I'm working on that.
Vintage giveaway.
Yeah.
I also have
production.
I have vintage perfect keto cereal. I think there might still be maybe a bag left in the basement that my husband has not opened up yet. He really, he seems to enjoy it. He calls it dog food.
Yes.
But I think we still have a little bit of that and a little bit of the perfect keto mac and cheese. I think we still have some boxes of that hanging out on the storage shelves.
Yes, I think I have a bag or two of the cereal. And actually, when I was cleaning in my pantry, I was like, I really should send this to Lindsey because I know how much you guys like it. And I'm the only one that, likes it here. So, well, I mean, everyone else has tried it and they didn't mind it, but it's not like something they go for.
I think that I could be way wrong. And I know if Jared is here, he will correct me. But my thought is he likes it because it's got that crunch factor to it, but it's
very crunchy.
So hard that you have to eat it more slowly in order to not break your teeth.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
it is kind of an interesting texture where
it
it's
is
like, I don't
sturdy.
know. I mean, I guess maybe like grape nuts or something had that like break your teeth.
I was never big on cereal, so I don't know.
Yeah, you can obviously if you like put it in milk and let it sit for 2 minutes, it's
Soften up.
a lot softer. Anyways, we don't even need to go into all of this because this is not even on the market anymore. It is no longer with
It's not.
no one. Yeah. Anyways, but I have a couple bags and I was like, I really should just put this in the mail to Lindsey.
If you do that, I
might
will
do
put
that.
in the mail the black licorice that I have.
There you go. Jared likes that one though.
I don't know that he really recalls that it's there.
Oh. Oh goodness. Okay. Risa says, yes, they discontinued the Irish cream, bought a giant bag before they discontinued. I keep all my KetoChow together in plastic bins in the basement. Smart. Yeah, I had to reorganize and like keep a certain amount in my pantry upstairs and then the rest go downstairs so it's not like taking over the whole pantry like it does.
We have similar issues here.
Suzanne is here. I'm doing a cut with Jonathan now, so no KetoChow for me. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Because you can make KetoChow lower fat, lower calorie.
Yeah.
But I wonder if there's something else about it. I mean, maybe it's the dairy or something like that too. There's
That's a high probability.
Yeah. Okay. R. Holb is asking, and I don't think I've seen your name before, so welcome. What is, I guess, our favorite air fryer? Lindsey?
So I had or have the Kasori 5.8 quart basket style. I do like that one quite a lot. But I have actually found that I have a hiccup waiting right here. The Z-Star, the Z-Star air grill or air fryer grill is actually what we use the most. Oh gosh, go ahead. I got like this hiccup thing happening here.
I have not tried any of the air fryer grills yet. I reviewed a whole bunch of air fryers for a few years, and then the grills kind of came on the scene after that when I was like, I'm out.
Moving forward.
I'm air fryered out. So what we have right now, the two that we are using are the Instant Vortex. So it's Instant Pot brand. Vortex double basket. So you can do two separate things because a lot of times we're using it like one kid is making their own French fries, the other kid is making their own chicken strips, and to have, double the space and do two things at the same time was nice. Because I don't do a ton of like whole big family meals. It's more like we're doing our individual meals in there. So Instant Vortex, it's the one with the windows on each drawer. I do like that one a lot. Any of the Instant Vortex I've had good success with, and I think they're a good product. They give a really good crisp, which is obviously what you want in an air fryer. So definitely recommend the Vortex, especially with the windows. And they have different sizes. So depending on what you need for your own circumstance, it could vary greatly. And then I also have the Chef Maker, which is kind of an upgraded air fryer. So it has some extra features, which are really nice, but then it also works like an air fryer also. It has just a regular air fryer setting, and it goes to a really high temperature. Some, only go to 400. So when you can go a little bit higher, like to 450 or so, that's nice. The other great thing about the Chef Maker, Dreo Chef Maker, and I do have a review video on that one on my channel, and several recipes also. It has a temperature probe and settings for like different cuts of steak and for different, cuts of chicken and things like that, even settings for vegetables and stuff. And so you can just press the button and let it go and actually cook a medium rare steak pretty decently. I mean, I always say it's not going to be exactly the same as, searing it in a cast iron pan. You're not going to get exactly the same crust, but it does a pretty dang good job for just, set it and forget it. So you get the convenience of like a slow cooker, but then you actually get a decently cooked steak in the end. So that is one great thing about that. But it does have a higher price tag because of the upgrades. So, all right, go. Did you have more that you were going to say about the Z Star?
No.
Oh,
No, I do love the Z Star in general. And it's really fun whenever people come to your house and they're not familiar with it as of yet. And they're like, what is that? And you say, that is my printer. It prints food.
So you can, like, with the grill, tell me
Yeah.
about the difference between the grill air fryer and like a regular air fryer.
So it has the ability to go up to that 450-degree temperature if that's what you're looking for. I personally love doing burgers on it because I can usually fit about 6 2-ounce patties. The girls really like slider sized burgers. So I can do like 6 2-ounce patties. I could do I can do a lot in it. It does not have that basket shakeability to it,
Yes.
but it does create some marks based on like the little circular like grill lines around it on the bottom. So that's kind of interesting and neat. I really also like it for baking things, which sounds weird, but like I like to make little like either 1 or 2 serving type things in like little oven safe glass dishes that are shallow. I like that better than using the microwave because the texture of the product is better.
Yeah.
And so I can bake in it. I can air fry in it like regular. And whenever I do regularly air fry in it, it has a basket that's kind of like a big square. No, that's not the right shape. Sorry. Rectangle. A big rectangle basket. And it technically you could grab either side of it. It has handles that you could grab with pot holders to kind of jostle things around. But I think the thing that I like about it the best is just the versatility and the fact that it does go up so high and it heats up really quickly too. So
nice.
It's a favorite way to do bacon. Things don't slide around in it either. Like that is a piece. I do like the basket style for doing like homemade French fries for the girls or vegetables or homemade chicken nuggets or something like that for being able to shake them. But whenever I'm trying to do bacon, I feel like stuff slides around or there's some things you don't want moving around. And I feel like that's where the air fryer grill comes in handier. It's not gonna, move on you whenever you close the lid.
Nice. Love it. And I believe you have a review on the Z Star on your channel.
I do.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to search our channels for air fryer reviews, I've reviewed a lot of different ones. And so you can check those out if you want, more details on that. Rickwin says she has a lot of the old KetoChows, but still working through them. Just had one to make chaffles for breakfast this morning. Excellent.
Yum, yum.
Suzanne has a lot of the old KetoChows too. Risa also, not much left. She's working through them. Suzanne says she loves her Ninja Grill air fryer. I've heard good things about that.
I think that one is the style and shape of it is extremely similar to the Z Star. And I don't know which one came out first, but I feel like with a lot of these
companies come out with the same things
all the time. I think that they are all very similar and just sometimes it's one of those deals where you're like, I just got to dive in and try.
Yeah. Risa says, I love my Ninja wood fire grill and use it all winter on nicer days. Just smoked some hard-boiled eggs the other day. I saw the Two Crazy Ketos did that. They showed smoked, boiled eggs, which seemed very interesting. And it was 24 degrees outside that day. So I haven't looked into what the wood fire grill is all about, but I've seen ads for it and stuff. It looks pretty cool, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Yeah, I haven't had any.
We just keep coming up with all these amazing inventions to make better.
Do you find that once you have like a couple of varieties of ways to cook the same thing, your brain kind of disengages and says, I've got enough.
Yeah.
I find that happens to me. I can cook eggs on the stove. I can cook them in my Instant Pot. If I felt like doing the air fryer tactic, I could, or the oven tactic, I could. But I'm like, I like finding a method that works and clicks in my brain, even if somebody else finds that way more challenging. and they find a different way that might be more challenging for me, like I find that there's just no need to continue hunting for myself. Just
I think that's what happens. I'm sorry, but when you get old, getting stuck in your ways. And I have a feeling that there was a generation above us that was looking at us and saying, those kids with their newfangled air fryers and instant pots. And now that's us, except that we have air fryers and instant pots, and we're gonna
I mean, like,
crush on the young kids with all these new things that you don't really need.
Well, you know, and it's like sometimes there is that sense of adventure, that desire to go on a quest to find out, is this going to work out for me? And this is a new, fun, experimental way for me to try something out. And there are other times, like, and in that season where you're willing to go on the adventure, you probably have a lot less daily tasks and responsibilities pressing down on you. And you feel like, okay, I can do that. But then at other seasons, you're like, I am fortunate that I was able to like go to the bathroom by myself, that I was able to like just get dinner on the table without somebody, you know, needing help or whatever the case may be. And you're like, now is not the season. So some seasons we're adventurous. Some seasons we fall back on our tried and true, just habitual ways of doing things. And that's okay.
It is okay.
But I'm not gonna continue to seek out more ways to create hard-boiled eggs.
Right. Once I mean, once you do it in the Instant Pot, it's like, is there really any other way? I mean, because there are better ways to do things, but when you've already found the best way, you don't need to hunt anymore.
I mean, like, ultimately, that's really what it boils down to. All I require is huh?
You said boils. Pun intended. Boils down to you. Sorry.
You know, they just flow. They just happen. You know. Yeah. As long as I have an immersion blender that is stable, an Instant Pot that functions, and an air fryer, I'm fine.
Yeah, you could take away the oven. Who cares?
I mean, like, if something happens to our oven stove situation, we'll make it. It'll be challenging, but we'll make it. Yeah,
just replace the oven with like slots to put 3 air fryers and an Instant Pot.
I feel like it's going to cost us a lot more money if we do that because we use a gas stove.
Oh, yeah. We don't. Sadly. All right. Maurice says we have the Emerald French door air fryer and we have the Instant Pot with the pressure cooking feature. That is excellent. You can do so much with those 2 things. Seriously. Risa says, I also have the Gourmia 8-quart and I love it. Use it many times a day. Has fewer settings and larger inside. You know what? Most air fryers have too many settings and most of them do exactly the same thing.
I find that I rarely use any of the preset things personally, except like I think preheat and then the basic on my air fryer. And the only settings that I switch back and forth between are just regular pressure cook, saute, and yogurt. Those are the only 3 I need.
Yeah. It's like a upsell type thing. Oh, we have this many 8-in-1.
We have 73 in one.
And you're like, but they all do the same thing. How is it different? No, you just need pressure cook, yogurt / like proofing. We use proofing bread dough sometimes, like at a yogurt temperature, so yogurt setting. And then, you know, the slow cook setting is nice to have, although I don't use it very often. But I mean, do you really need it much more than that? I find the simpler the settings, the better.
Well, personally. It's less to have to sit there and overthink.
Yeah.
Like, I know I just want saute. I just want to saute this beef and then put it through and let it pressure cook to tender. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to sell to people who maybe don't cook regularly, and they're like, "Oh, all I have to do is press the rice button. All I have to do is press the stew button." And you're like, "Okay, but if you just understood how it worked, then you would realize that that's not even necessary."
Yeah, I
And
agree.
there's so many different recipes for stew or meat, or like, it's like, how can you really make a setting just for meat when there's all kinds of cuts and thicknesses? And anyway,
Yeah.
it's just a way to sell stuff, and you got to be smarter than the sales team, the marketing,
Yeah.
smarter
I
than
mean,
the marketing.
or you just say it is what it is, and I like to have all the different variety of buttons. You know, some people
Sure.
enjoy buttons.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. My nephew was over a while back, and he's like in the rampaging toddler stage, which is so fun. And I don't have a rampaging toddler anymore, so my house is not set up to manage a rampaging toddler. And
Right.
so I have on my shelves, I'll have all of my Instant Pots, all of my air fryers, like my Vitamix, stuff like that, just on the shelf. And he just thought those buttons and switches were the best thing he had ever seen. So he was just going, pressing every button, doing every switch. And so for like a week afterwards, I'd like plug in my Vitamix and you're like, ah!
I didn't mean for that to happen.
Yeah. But anyways. So some people, my point is, some people do like the buttons and the switches, like rampaging toddlers.
Arguably, my husband loves buttons and switches and toggles and knobs and all kinds of things. I mean, I think that kind of helped to guide him to his career path of being a pilot.
Yep. He found his calling.
That's right. That's right. So today is the last February live stream. And this month we've been trying to focus in on fitness, but here we are just talking about appliances.
I know.
And it's fun. It's a good time.
Yes. Well, typically we chat about whatever for the first, I don't know, 22 minutes.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm a little bit like all done talking about Instant Pot.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll
I've met my
a
threshold
dedicated to kitchen appliances, because we could probably talk about them for a month.
Probably. Yeah, we could definitely do that. Just like little different helpers in the kitchen. Maybe we should write that down for like another.
Yeah.
One of our monthly foci.
That would be great. Okay. So we did want to get into the whole fitness topic and kind of, wrap it up and share thoughts. I have a few ideas in my mind. Do you have stuff prepared?
Well, I just wanted to say, I did have a little something on my brain, on my sternum, if you will. But if you would like to go first, you're welcome to.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So this us focusing on fitness, we've kind of discussed a variety of things, like what each of us kind of had as like our fitness story, so to speak, like where we've come from and where we are kind of currently sitting. And the this past winter, like we fully have embraced outdoor activity of snowboarding. And something happened this past Friday, that was huge for me. And that was everything finally clicked in my head. And that was kind of like the resonating concept, was like, everybody tells you that, once you start doing this thing, it's going to, like, you're going to feel amazing. It's going to be amazing. They tell you that with like running or something like that. Like, oh, once you start getting into it, like eventually you get that runner's high and you can't not go for a run. Like you feel compelled, like you can't even control the desire to go and do that activity. Well, for the past season, it has been extremely challenging for me to learn to snowboard and feel comfortable at it. Like I can do it. I just am not comfortable on slopes that are, a little bit more challenging. And finally, this past Friday, something clicked in my brain everything fell into place, and I feel comfortable going across all of the different runs, whether they are green or blue or black, it doesn't matter, like the difficulty level. I overcame that hurdle. And what stinks is that I knew in my head and in my heart that I know at some point it's going to click, but I have to continue trudging along through this challenging part where it's not the most fun at times, where I feel defeated at times, where I'm just tired and my knee hurts and I want to just go sit down and drink a cup of coffee. I knew it in those moments that if I at some point it'll click. Today is not that day. The next time was not that day. The next time, but then finally it did click. And I hate the whole cliche, like once it clicks and there's nothing you can do about it. I hate that so deeply at times, but I'm like, you have to go through all of those challenging times doing something that's physically demanding before you can finally reach that point. But there are also times whenever it winds up not, and then you can shift your focus entirely and just not do that thing.
Right.
But it clicked and I feel so good about it.
That's awesome. So you are a snowboarder.
I'm a snowboarder.
Congratulations. You'll be getting your certificate in the mail soon.
Yes.
A similar thing happened with the kids. This past winter, we did a homeschool swim club, and my kids haven't had a lot of experience swimming. And it was one of those things where it was like always on my conscience, like they need to be better at swimming. But we just didn't have a great opportunity, like not great pools nearby. Anyways, this opportunity came up to do this homeschool swim club, and there was a lot of fear at the beginning. There were a lot of tears after the first day. But I remember just a few weeks in, and the kids started being, having a better attitude about it. And Charity, in the car on the way home, she's like, it clicked. Like, I think she used even that term, like it clicked. And Talia at another point, talking about diving, she's like, it was so hard and my body wouldn't do it. And I didn't know. And then all of a sudden it just clicked. And now I know how to do it. And
yeah,
it's like, and I do this with the kids all the time about schoolwork, about all different things, where I say, you are not supposed to be an expert at something the first time you do it. Like they get so upset, and certain ones that have different personalities,
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like I need to be perfect at this from the get-go. And you're like, no. And if they're not perfect at it, then no, I don't want to do it. And it's like, no,
I got a couple like that.
Yeah. And when it comes to school, I'm like, if you were perfect at this, we would not be doing it. Like the whole point of doing schoolwork is that you're not good at it yet. And you'll get there. That's where we're going. And so there is like a balance between pushing yourself to do something you're not good at, and then forcing yourself to do something you hate forever. So sometimes, and it's the same with making dietary changes. I think it's like, if it was completely natural for you to eat this beautiful whole foods diet, then you would have already been doing it. Like if you wouldn't have been eating all the processed foods if it was just a completely ingrained natural thing to eat everything from scratch, And if you were the kind of person that just loved exercise and couldn't get enough of it, you would already be doing it. But if you're not that person yet, there might be some blood, sweat, and tears that need to happen to get you there.
Yeah.
Now, then you also have to be self-reflective in the journey. Like if you're like, I'm not an exerciser, but I want to be, so I'm going to sign up for a marathon. And you're just like, and you're running for months and you hate it. And you're like, you never get to the point. Like at what point do you give up on that and shift focus?
Right.
So there definitely has to be some self-reflection. So it's not like just find something you love and then you'll be excited to do it. Well, sometimes it takes work to get to where you love something, just like with snowboarding for you, just like for running with me or any other kind of exercising. It took some work. It took some help from outside sources. for me to get over that hump.
Yeah.
And like, for example, with running specifically, I don't really love running. And I
'Cause
had
it's
a talk
not
with
good.
Jonathan Shane. I had a talk with Jonathan Shane when we were doing our coaching, and I was just like, I've thought about it. I've toyed with the idea of becoming a runner and like signing up for all the races and have that be like one of my regular exercises. And I just don't think I want to do that. Also, I don't have time to do that. And I don't live in a place where it's very easy to, go outside
Yeah.
and run. I mean, we don't have sidewalks. We're a windy country road. So there was a whole bunch of things, but it wasn't, just giving up on exercise completely. It was just like, okay, I'm not going to focus on that primarily. I still do run occasionally, and I signed up for a 10K in April. So it will be part of my life, which there is value in doing things you're uncomfortable with and you don't love.
Fair.
So I'm challenging myself that way. But I'm not a runner. I I told somebody the other day that I signed up for a 10K in April. They're like, "Oh, so you're a runner?" And I'm like, "Nope, I sure am not."
Now I'm just touched in the head.
I just like to do torturous things every once in a while. That's all.
That's right.
We got to say hi, goodbye to Risa. She's got to go.
Have a good
And
time.
hi to Chris. Chris will take Risa's place in the chat.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not ready for a 401k. That just sounds like way too much K to me. That's way more
aggressive.
I'm capable of. Miriam is here. Hi, Miriam.
Hi, Miriam. It's been a hot minute since we've had you like say hello.
I know. Okay.
Break.
So, I was thinking about, and we were talking on our, Lindsey and I chat, we're friends, so we chat every once in a while throughout the week. And
we also send each other copious numbers of GIFs and memes and reels.
So many. Like,
that's how we communicate largely.
I think Instagram reels are our love language.
Fact.
And it's always great when you send me one that I like almost sent to you. It's so great. Anyways, we were talking about there's this idea, and maybe it's part of like the diet, nutrition, exercise, like getting healthy through exercise marketing, where it's like, you don't have to change your life in order to be a fit person or to, have a healthy diet. You don't have to change your life. This is easy. This is nothing. Just add this little one thing and you don't have to change your life. And I'm thinking that that's not actually true. You kind of do have to change your life, and not that you have to leave your family and go find a new family or, move from rainy Portland to Costa Rica necessarily, like within reason. But you do have to change your life. And so for me with exercise, I feel like I was always trying to just add an exercise onto my life. Or a program onto my life, or a gym membership onto my life. And I never really internalized it and became an exerciser, kind of like Lindsey is now a snowboarder. And so like, I don't want to perpetuate the American, I think it's a very Western American idea that you can get XYZ results without actually having to change your life. And so, there's this whole, especially on social media, there's like this whole set of, it's like a type of person. And I laugh at these memes and reels and stuff about people that hate exercise, for example. and there's all kinds of different, types of people that people make fun of. People that drink lots of coffee or people that drink lots of wine. That's not one that I, resonate with, but that you see those kinds of reels about, always having
The coffee one hurt. I don't know why you would bring that up. Okay.
But like this like tired mom hates exercise, can never get it together. And the reels are funny and I relate in a lot of ways to that.
Yeah.
But now that I've become an exerciser in that it is part of just what I do. I don't relate to it as much anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't celebrate it because there's kind of like a celebration of it when you're making fun of it, which I totally get. It's very cathartic and therapeutic to laugh about hardship and, things that we struggle with. That's fine. But I just find that since I have changed myself, I'm like, I'm not that kind of person anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas I used to really identify with that and be like, oh yeah, I hate exercise, blah, blah, blah. I'll never run. What kind of an idiot would run?
I'm going to hang out in that camp for a little bit longer because there are other exercises I like.
Because it is running. Running is,
it is running.
Terrible. But here I am signing up for a 10K again. Anyways. So my point is you do kind of have to change. And your body, to a certain extent, reflects who you are.
Okay.
And so if I am a person that hates exercise and has to force myself to do it, and I try to add on an exercise program, it probably won't stick to the point that my body is affected. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I mean, maybe I could force myself to do it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But overall, it probably won't change my body. And same thing with
your time.
Yeah. Same thing with, diet and nutrition. If I am not the kind of person that gravitates towards healthy foods, however you define that, overall, my body will probably not reflect being that kind of person. My body will probably reflect being the kind of person that is just like, oh, whatever, I'll just eat the pizza or go through the drive-through or, whatever. I don't know if this is all making sense, but it's like, all of the diets and the workout programs and things that you're trying to add on, like this is the thing that's going to
fix me.
Unless you internalize it and actually become that person, at least this is my experience, it doesn't end up getting to ultimately the effect that you are looking for long term. There are plenty of things that you can do in 30 days and it has a certain effect. But long term, if you don't actually change your life to a certain degree, your body will reflect that.
Well, and I think also it's one of those things where anything you add into your life, it consumes resources, whether that is your time, your energy, your mental capacity. And in order to allow that thing to consume your resources, you have to reallocate resources away from something else. And so like for us with the snowboarding thing, like our free time, our ability to be flexible has been shifted. Like, oh, the weather's good today, let's drop things and go snowboarding. So instead of like, oh, we're going to go, do something different, or we're just going to stay at home, we're going to reallocate that resource of time and energy to this thing that we do want. And then come summertime, we'll reallocate that time to something different. But we're still putting the time and effort into becoming what we want to become. And, like our actions are dictated by those resources, I guess. I don't know. It's really quite hard for me to, like, my brain just kind of glitched, forgive me. But I do think you're right. Like, you do have to become that. I don't think that I would have gotten to the place where things clicked as with the snowboarding thing specifically. Like, that's just like my current example because that's what my current experience is. I did not click with being a snowboarder because it just happened. It was like I put effort into it. I allocated my mental bandwidth to looking up different like videos, talking about it with my family, talking about it with my husband, talking about it, and then discussing different tactics or different things to do, and then going out and actually doing it. Like, we reallocated a lot of our stuff, and we would look at, we like 1,000 different types of things. Like, we have a very broad selection of interests. But I was watching less and less sailing videos because my focus was on becoming a snowboarder. And so it's like, I put one thing down so that I could focus on another. And I wouldn't have been able to become another thing if I wasn't actually trying to change who I am to a degree. A lot of my weightlifting and training and things like that have shifted because my friend and I, we're snowboarders now. So she's like, I'm going to have my husband rewrite our workouts so that it's more focused on what can help us whenever we go down the slopes. Yeah. Like, everything kind of shifted to become what, or shifted to support what we wanted to become.
Yes.
And we set down a whole lot of other things, a lot of other conversations we just set along the wayside. We're like, that's not who we're trying to work on becoming right now. So we're just going to set that aside. Not that we can't pick it up later, but for right now, this is our focus. And we discuss regularly how sad we are that winter goes by way too fast now.
Yes, it is a very seasonal thing. Yeah. So I think, like, thinking about myself back when I'm going to say I wasn't an exerciser in my heart, even though there were exercises that I did, but in my heart, I wasn't an exerciser. So it was like, I would look for ways to get out of exercising.
Excuse finding.
Excuses not to do the workout. Oh, I'm a little extra tired. Oh, I have whatever.
I have a twinge.
Exactly. Now, I look for ways to get exercise in, and that has its own set of issues. Like, if there's a time where I really am not feeling well and I really should take it easy, then I have to manage that. But it's like, it's a complete shift. It's like, if I go a day without being active, it doesn't feel right. It's like, I actually am looking for ways to exercise rather than looking for ways to get out of exercise, which is a complete 180, like, and I wish that I could bottle that and, like, sell it to somebody, because it's because we were talking about this also on the Marco Polos, where it's like, I'm not exerting nearly as much willpower to exercise now than I was back when I didn't want to. It's like I had to exert willpower to make it happen, and I was even doing it way less than I'm doing now. Now I want to do it, and so it's not even hard to make myself do it. The exercise obviously is challenging because that's what exercise is. But like, the getting myself to do it on a regular basis, it's like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't just flip that switch. I've been trying to for, my whole adult life. And it took outside, help from Jonathan Shane and from my exercise group and friends that, we're doing runs together and, stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, it's a complete change. And I don't want to sit here and be like, I am so dedicated and have so much willpower that I work out twice as much as I used to. Like, I have double the willpower. No, there was something else that changed about me. It's the same thing with nutrition. It's like, when you're first trying to get off of ultra processed foods, get off the standard American diet, it can take a tremendous amount of willpower. But then once you've been doing it for years and that just becomes your norm to eat, fairly whole foods and, the way things look in nature, it's not like you have to exert that same amount of willpower throughout your whole life.
Right.
It does become natural if you let it. And I wish that I had an exact like ABC, just 1, 2, 3 steps, and then you'll be there. I don't, but it is possible.
It is really possible. And you said steps, and then all of a sudden, all I could imagine was Levi giving you instruction on how to use your step-for-step aerobic.
Yeah. If anyone needs extra motivation or direction, Levi is taking on new clients. So for anyone that doesn't know, Levi is my 6-year-old son, soon to be 7. Yes. He
knowledgeable in almost every area of life.
Yes. And he will mansplain it to you. For sure.
Beautiful.
That's what we all need. More mansplaining.
100%.
Suzanne says, it has taken me 2 years of paying for a personal trainer to finally like weightlifting. That is amazing. And sometimes it takes that, it's hard to change ourselves.
It is.
It's easy to buy a 30-day program. Money, for a lot of people, for a 30-day program, easy to come by.
Right.
Changing yourself, not so much. Yeah. Okay, Sing It says, I call what you just described as pretending to get healthy. Your body can't look like what you're doing. Ooh.
Burn, bro.
Out. Yeah, I totally agree. And I also, this is kind of related, but I think our bodies reflect our life. So if I, was a coal miner,
your lungs would be black.
Imagine, we have 10 Neelys all at the same starting point, and we take one and put her in the coal mines. We take the other one and
put her in the tropics.
There you go. Put her in the tropics. Another one is a farmer. Another one, and my body is going to look vastly different in 5 years, depending on my life. And so, and I'm saying this not like as a comparison with other people, only as a comparison within our own bodies, because everyone has different genetics. So it's not like I'm saying, if you see someone that has a body that looks like this, that means they're this way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying comparing just within our own genetics and our own selves. And so it kind of makes me laugh sometimes when I see like suburban moms that feel like they have to look like a gladiator. And not that that's wrong or anything like that. Having goals is great. And, being a bodybuilder, that's its own thing. But it's like this idea that as a suburban mom, I have to look like Jillian Michaels or like this bikini bodybuilder in order to have a good body. And you're just like, your life is a suburban mom. It is okay to look like a suburban mom. There's a way to be a healthy suburban mom, clearly, and there's a way to be a less healthy suburban mom, but you don't have to look like a professional bodybuilder in order, like that's not the only good like body style. It's okay. It's okay. And so like Jeff, for example, my husband, he is very trim. He's very muscular, but he's not like huge muscular like a bodybuilder. But
he's muscular like a rock climber.
Yes. He has almost no fat on his body. And so all of the muscles are very visible, which, fantastic. But the work that he does, like getting up on top of buildings and shimmying through crawl spaces and attics and stuff, it would not,
Or core.
it
That's what
would not help him to have 50 more pounds of muscle on his body.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it would in certain areas, but in a lot of what he does, the physique that he has is just
applicable.
the right one. Now, if he had a different job or different lifestyle, then a different physique would make sense.
Right.
So all that to say, like this idea that there's this one spectrum of, this body is bad and all the way to this body is good. No, your body reflects your life. And so like, be realistic with yourself. Like, I'm a homeschool mom. I don't need to have chiseled abs. That's okay. Like that is actually, and if you are a homeschool mom and you want to have chiseled abs and you put the work in to get them, fantastic. That's great. There are all kinds of things that we can put time and energy into that are like extra.
Yeah.
It's not required to be a homeschool mom.
Right. Well, I mean, okay. The physique style that kind of comes to my mind is someone like Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps' physical stature is well suited to his choice of sport, right? The guy's got a wingspan from here till, like the west, from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yes.
He has a natural proclivity to be a fantastic swimmer. I also have a similar, like I've got broader shoulders and narrower hips. And tends to do better when it comes to swimming. I'm not built to be a runner. I don't have all my muscle mass in my legs. It's all upper body for me. And so for me to go through and be a runner, it's just very unnatural. And so it's just, it just all depends. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are, I would not be a power lifter on the lower half.
Yeah. I am the opposite. I have some muscle in my legs. I'm definitely the opposite.
I'm less stable in general because all my weight is waist up.
That's
and
funny.
So like I have a much more fun time doing upper body workouts than I do lower body workouts. I have less fun doing cardio where I'm having to like jog or run or do gross things of that sort. But if it's, jump
on a trampoline instead, it's fine.
That is easier. That is a lot easier. But then it's like snowboarding. Cool. I can do that. I'm not having to like really, I don't know. When you find the thing that works for yourself, you just go after it.
Yeah.
I'm not going after running.
Yeah. So I just feel like there's such a balance of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, changing yourself in a certain way, but also being realistic with what your life looks like, what you're built for, what your life actually needs.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to, do all the farming work around the property. I want to have endurance to do the landscaping, all these different things. Like that's what I want to be able to do. What kind of body do I need in order to get there? It's probably not a size 0 bikini model body. I mean, probably not. And so it's like putting all my effort into becoming a size 0 isn't going to help me with my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Or the life that I want to live. All right. Yeah.
So can I ask about, oh, go ahead. Did we have comments?
No, I was just going to say, did we make any sense at all?
I doubt it, but bless, it's going to be the last time we have to talk about February Fitness Focus. So
there you go. Maybe we'll do it again something else. February, but whatever.
So knowing that it's the end of the month and March is coming, like we're not stopping our fitness ventures. I am not going to stop moving because the snow is gone out there. I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to refocus somewhere, whether that is, getting a little bit more intentional with with my strength training with my friend. She also has become a snowboarder with me. So it's like we're going to probably sort of like have more opportunity to do strength training that will help with our mobility for snowboarding come next season. But we will be less, what's the word? Timid during the weeks because we don't want to be sore whenever we go to the slopes. Like we worked our different workouts around the fact that like, okay, if we go snowboarding on Friday, we don't want to have to do a leg workout on the Thursday before, like that Thursday 24 hours before, because we will die. So we'll do that on Monday. Everything is in relation to when you're going to be on the slopes. Now we'll reallocate that effort to saying like, okay, I need to have better flexibility, more mobility here, strength there, whatever. And we can be a little bit less timid with things because we know we're not going to get hurt on the hillside until December.
Nice. I love it. Want to say hi to Marie, listening at work. Kelly says, what sport I was interested in at the time seemed to become part of my identity, and my attention was fully focused on that. It made it incredibly enjoyable. Yep.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah. And not that that's without difficulty, because some people make a sport their identity and it becomes, too much, or they break their leg and then they can't do it and they have an identity crisis. Like there's ways to go off the rails in multiple areas, but to a degree, having it be part of who you are is very helpful. Trying to do something externally usually just doesn't last, like at least for me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Singit says, so then you really have to retrain your brain. Yes. Yeah, that it is. And like that repetition of it, like you with snowboarding, you had to just keep doing it. It wasn't like you could just decide that you were a snowboarder. You had to do the work of doing it until things got retrained.
That's right.
Once you don't mind, it don't matter. Miriam says, I love this discussion. Someone tell me which sport I'm genetically disposed to be good at, and I'll try that.
Being pretty.
Absolutely.
She's already successful in that one. She needs something challenging.
And your husband says nope.
I would love context on what you're saying nope
to. A very, very helpful comment. Thank you, Jared.
We do appreciate it.
Yeah, we needed that. If you could, just mansplain it a little bit more, that would be great.
He might need lessons from Levi to fully be able to step into that identity.
I understand. Yeah, I understand.
So what are you going to carry on? What are you going to carry on with for the next however long until you change it up again?
Like for exercise?
Yeah. Like what is the thing that right now makes you find it easy with minimal willpower or minimal thought process to get out of the bed and go do this workout? You've been working on steps, on the step up, step down. Oh gosh.
Okay. Thank you. It's very helpful. We will
appreciate the clarification there.
Let's just go back and do it again real quick.
We'll do it all over. Strike that, reverse it, come back around.
Okay. So what I am continuing with, I have realized that I really enjoy in-person exercise classes. Okay. And also like live on YouTube classes. Like for whatever reason, if it's scheduled and other people are all coming together in some way, I find that more motivating. Why? It's silly. Whatever. I just have acknowledged that about myself. So I'm continuing with my in-person classes, which we've been doing for about 1.5 years now, which is super fun. And then I have found a couple YouTube channels that do live classes in times that work for me. And so that's Jenna Zaffino. She does rebounding, and she also does some other stuff, including some step recently. And then also C. Dorner Fitness. I talked about her in one of my recent vlogs. She does 5 workouts a week. They're not always live. Sometimes they're premieres, and it's like older workouts that she's premiering again. But she has a schedule and has 5 workouts a week. So I often will do those. It's at 6 a.m. when when they premiere or go live. So I'll do those most days, and like, I don't know, for whatever reason, when it's on the schedule, when someone else schedules it for me, I'm like, I'm there. And that's what works for me.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to keep doing that. And it's like a really solid mix of all, realms of fitness. There's definitely cardio. There's definitely like HIIT, Tabata type things. There's lots of strength, dumbbells, and, heavy weightlifting. And then also a good mix with recovery, stretching, mobility. And I feel like I get a really good mix of all of those things throughout the week with doing that.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this concludes our February fitness right here. My husband is planning to be real good at tortilla chip arm curls. So
your body will reflect that.
He's kind of, he may not be as slim as Jeff, but he has more of that build similarly in that he's got the muscles, but he's not Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilder.
Right. Which do you really need to be a pilot?
So I feel like those tortilla chip arm curls are the appropriate action for the body that he desires.
Yeah.
I do. You know
what?
I really do.
True.
So
yeah.
Next month, we will be switching up our focus. We're still trying to figure out exactly how to say that, like what the title of it would be, what the verbiage will be that we will use for that. But look out for a change up in conversation. And
I think we did it.
Create the body you want. I don't know. I feel like we need some sort of like a closing